Hi, Intro to Algebra. After you've done your first attempt, go along with this video to make corrections and get 100% on your second attempt. So for this one, remember that this is the same as 12 plus negative 5x is less than negative 3. So subtracting 12 is a great first step. And then just remember that when you divide both sides by a negative, you have to swap that inequality sign. So notice here, this inequality got switched to be a greater than sign. And just make sure that when you go and type your response over here that you either show or explain each step for full credit. Okay, so looking at this graph, I can see that this is the graph of x is greater than 3. So I'm looking for the answer that's the same as that. And you'll notice that all of these with the less than or equal to or greater than or equal to sign, those would have a filled in circle, so I know those are all wrong. Here, both the first and the second have the inequality opening towards the 3, meaning that 3 is bigger than x, but this is showing that x is anything bigger than 3. And the only one that shows that is this one down here. That is the same thing as x is greater than 3. All right, this one you're going to have to solve each inequality and then match it with its graph. The first one, w is greater than or equal to 12. So that actually goes with the first picture, which is great. The next one, when we divide by a negative, we switch the inequality sign, so we should get w is less than or equal to 12, and that's going to be this picture here, a filled-in circle. So this one gives me w is less than 3/3, but of course that's the same as w is less than 1. So that's going to be an open circle. Oh, be careful, this one's close to 1, but not quite on 1. That one is. So here first I subtracted w from both sides, and then I'm going to subtract the 0.25 from both sides, and I get 0.75 is greater than w. And just to make it easier for my brain, I might write that as w is less than 0.75. It's still opening towards the 0.75, so that looks like this picture right here. Okay, constant of proportionality. So notice in the table, I'm looking for the number that I have to multiply each thing in the x column by to get to the y column. And I know that for 4, it's going to be times 25, and that same number works here. And then I'll just check in my calculator, 32 times 25 is that 800, and it is. So my constant proportionality is 25, and it represents, well, it seems like gallons has to be multiplied by 25 to get miles. So number of gallons times 25 is equal to number of miles. So let's see if we can figure out what that means exactly. The number of miles driven for each gallon of gas. Does that seem right? Well, if I have 1 gallon times 25, that equals 25 miles. So 25 is the number of miles driven for each gallon of gas. This one has you choosing the proportional relationships. So this one doesn't go through 0, 0, this graph. So I know that this one does, so that's proportional. This one doesn't go through 0, 0, so it's not. This one looks like y equals kx, so that's proportional. That one has a plus on it, so that doesn't work. That goes through 0, 0 and is linear, so that's good. This one doesn't have a y-intercept of 0. It doesn't go through 0, 0. All right, here I've got 210 and 735, and it looks like number of bricks versus total weight. So I know that 2 times 5 is 10, and 7 times 5 is 35. So it looks like y equals 5x is a good equation here. Y equals 5 times the x. The constant of proportionality is that 5, and it represents, well, 2 is the x, so number of bricks, 10 is the y, total weight. And if I had a 1 here, it would be 1, 5, 1 brick, 5 pounds. The weight of each brick is what that 5 tells me. Okay, if I can run 4 miles in 33 minutes, then I want to set up my proportion over here to also be miles over minutes. And it says 1 hour. So 1 hour, oh, I better put that in as 60 minutes if it's going to be the same on both sides. And then miles is the thing I'm trying to figure out. So that looks like this proportion here. Okay, this next one I can also solve with a proportion if I want. So 3 pounds for $4.47. And then I want to set this up also as 5 pounds over x. So remember we talked about solving this by cross multiplying. So 3 times x and then 4.47 times 5. And I'm going to do this in my calculator. Divide both sides by 3, and I get $7.45. There are other methods to solve this problem, but this cross-multiplying to solve proportions is a great way to do it. All right, here we've got water level in a bathtub and the time in minutes. So I can see that the water level is increasing, and then it doesn't change for a while, and then the water level is increasing again, stays the same, and then decreases all the way back down to 0 inches. Okay, so section 1 is when it's increasing, and it increases all the way up to 9 inches of water. So that's the first one. I fill on the bath up to 9 inches of water. And then section 2, remember, it's staying here just at 9 inches of water, so it's not changing. Section 3, it goes to start increasing again. So which one says that? I add 3 more inches of water. Let's make sure it really is 3 more inches. Well, it goes from 9 inches to 12 inches, so that's adding 3 inches of water. And then section 4 is skipped, but section 5, the amount of water is decreasing again, so that's got to be draining water from the tub. Notice it has nothing to do with the bathtub going up or downstairs, right? That doesn't make sense. The 0.5, 13,000. Well, the 5 is the x value, so that's hours. 13,000 is the miles, that's the y value. 5 hours, 13,000 miles. There we go. All right, so make sure that you go back and make any corrections as needed and do your second attempt.